Hey, my friends. This is Ryan, and welcome back to Fluent Flow English Podcast. Let me ask you something honest. When someone speaks English to you, what happens in your brain? Do you hear the words, translate them into your native language, think of a response in your native language, and then translate back to English? If you do this, you're not alone. But here's the problem. By the time you finish that process, the conversation has already moved on. Today, we're going to learn something powerful: how to stop translating and start thinking directly in English. This one change will make fast English feel natural and effortless. Most English learners focus on vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. Those things are important, but there's one skill that separates intermediate learners from truly fluent speakers: the ability to think in English without translation. When you think in English, listening becomes automatic. You don't struggle with speed anymore because there's no delay between hearing and understanding. In this episode, I'll show you exactly why your brain translates, how to break that habit, and specific mental training exercises you can practice every single day. By the end, you'll have a clear roadmap to rewire your brain for direct English thinking. First, let's understand why this happens. When you were a baby, you didn't translate anything. You heard dog and saw a furry animal with 4 legs, and your brain made a direct connection. The sound and the image became one thing in your mind.
There was no middle step, no dictionary, no confusion. Just pure, natural learning that happened automatically every single day. But when you started learning English later in life, everything changed. Schools taught you through translation because it seemed like the fastest way. You learned that dog means the word for dog in your native language. So your brain built a bridge: English word, then your language, then understanding. This bridge became a habit, and now your brain uses it automatically every single time you hear or read English. This translation habit creates a mental bottleneck, like a narrow road where cars get stuck. When English comes at normal speed, your brain tries to translate every word before understanding the message. It's like watching a movie while reading instructions on how to watch the movie. The process takes too long, and you miss what comes next. That's why fast English feels overwhelming and makes you panic. Think about it like this. Imagine you're playing a video game, but every time you want to jump, you have to press 3 buttons instead of 1. By the time you press all 3, your character already fell into a hole. That's exactly what translation does to your listening skills. It adds unnecessary steps between hearing and understanding. And those extra steps kill your speed and confidence completely. The amazing news is that habits can be changed, even deep ones like this. Your brain is incredibly flexible, and it can learn new pathways at any age. You're not stuck translating forever. With the right exercises and consistent practice, you can train your brain to process English directly, just like you do with your native language. It takes time, but it's absolutely possible for everyone. Thinking in English doesn't mean you're narrating your entire life in English inside your head all day long. That would be exhausting and unnatural. What it really means is that when you hear or see English words, your brain processes them directly without making a stop in your native language first. There's no translation step slowing you down. The English goes straight to meaning, feeling, or image in your mind, and that's when real fluency begins. For example, imagine you see a red apple sitting on a table. A person thinking in English looks at that apple, and the word apple just appears in their mind automatically, like magic. There's no voice saying the word in their native language first. The object and the English word are connected directly in their brain. This is exactly how you process your native language every single day without even noticing it. Now, let's talk about sentences and emotions. If someone walks up to you and says, "I'm hungry," a person who thinks in English feels the sensation of hunger instantly. They don't translate the words "I'm" and "hungry" one by one into their language and then understand. The meaning hits them immediately, like a reflex. It's the same feeling you get when someone speaks your native language and you just know what they mean without thinking about it.
Thinking in English is about creating direct connections between English words and real things. Meanings, emotions, images, sensations, actions. It's about making English feel as natural and automatic as your first language. When you hear happy, you feel happiness. When you hear run, you see the action of running. When you hear cold, you imagine or remember that freezing feeling on your skin. No translation bridge needed anymore. This is the secret that makes native speakers so fast and effortless when they communicate. They're not doing mental gymnastics or translating in reverse. Their brains are wired to process English directly because they learned it as babies through direct experience, not through translation books. And here's the great news. You can rewire your brain the same way with specific training and patience, no matter your age or level right now. Here's where translation really hurts you when you're trying to listen to fast English. Imagine someone walks up to you at work and says, "Hey, do you want to grab some coffee after work?" If your brain is stuck in translation mode, this is what happens inside your head. Hey translates to your language, then do you translates, then wanna makes you stop because you're thinking, what's wanna? And then you remember it means want to, so you translate that. Then grab confuses you because grab means to take something with your hand, right? Then coffee translates, and finally after work translates.
By the time you finish this mental marathon, the person is already talking about something completely different, and you're lost. But if you think in English, the exact same sentence hits your brain in a completely different way. You hear, "Hey, do you want to grab some coffee after work?" And instantly, you understand the feeling behind it. Someone is inviting you to spend time together over coffee. You don't analyze each word separately. You don't stop to translate grab literally. Your brain processes the entire message as one unit of meaning, just like when someone speaks your native language and you simply know what they mean without thinking about it. This is why people say fast English sounds like noise or gibberish when you're translating. Your translation process is too slow for the speed of natural conversation. Native speakers don't pause between words waiting for you to catch up. They speak at the speed their brains naturally produce language. And if your brain is doing extra work translating, you'll always be 3 steps behind. It's like trying to run a race while carrying a heavy backpack that nobody else has to carry. The frustrating part is that you might know all the words individually. You studied them, you remember them, you could write them on a test. But when they come flying at you in real conversation at normal speed, your brain panics because the translation bottleneck creates a traffic jam. Words pile up faster than you can process them, and suddenly you feel stupid, even though you're not. Your brain is just using an inefficient system that wasn't designed for speed. The solution is to remove that bottleneck completely by training your brain to skip the translation step. When you hear English, you need to go straight to understanding the meaning, the emotion, the intention behind the words. This doesn't happen overnight, but with consistent practice using the exercises we're about to cover, your brain will start processing English directly. And when that happens, fast English suddenly becomes clear, natural, and easy to follow without any stress or confusion. Here's your first practical exercise to stop translating, and it's incredibly powerful. From this moment forward, when you learn a new English word, don't write down the translation in your native language. Instead, find an image that represents that word. For example, if you're learning the word excited, don't write excited equals and then your language's word for excited. Instead, find a picture of someone jumping with joy. Or even better, remember a specific moment when you felt excited in your own life. Maybe it was your birthday, or when you got good news, or when you saw someone you love. Connect the English word directly to that image or that personal memory, not to your language's translation. This is exactly how babies learn their first language. When a baby hears dog 50 times while looking at a dog, their brain creates a direct link between the sound, dog, and the animal. There's no translation layer.
The same principle works for you as an adult learner. You just have to do it consciously and intentionally because your brain already has the translation habit installed. Do this with every type of word, nouns, verbs, adjectives, everything. If you're learning the word running, picture someone running in a park. Or remember the feeling of your legs moving fast when you run. If you're learning angry, picture an angry face. Or remember a time you felt angry. If you're learning kitchen, picture your own kitchen or a kitchen you know well. Your brain learns through associations and connections, not through abstract translation pairs. Start today with 10 words you already know but want to reconnect in your brain. Take words like happy, tired, hungry, cold, fast, beautiful, difficult, walk, sleep, and friend. For each one, close your eyes and create a strong mental image or memory connected to that word. Spend 10 to 15 seconds really feeling and visualizing each one. This might seem simple or silly, but you're literally rewiring neural pathways in your brain right now. Over time, as you build hundreds of these direct connections, your brain will start defaulting to images and feelings when it hears English, instead of defaulting to translation. This is the foundation of thinking in English. It takes patience and consistency, but every single connection you create makes the next one easier.
Your brain is a learning machine, and you're teaching it a better, faster, more natural way to process English that will change everything about your listening skills. This second exercise is one of the most powerful tools you have, and you can do it anywhere, anytime, without any materials or apps. Throughout your day, try to narrate what you're doing in simple English inside your mind. You don't have to say it out loud, just think it. For example, when you wake up in the morning, think, I'm waking up. I feel tired. I need coffee. When you're brushing your teeth, think, I'm brushing my teeth. The toothpaste tastes like mint. The water is cold. Keep it simple, especially at first. When you're cooking dinner, narrate the process. I'm cutting the vegetables. This knife is sharp. I need to be careful. The water is boiling. I'm adding salt. When you're driving or walking somewhere, think, I'm driving to work. The traffic is heavy today. That car is going too fast. I need to turn left here. The goal isn't perfect grammar or fancy vocabulary. The goal is training your brain to default to English instead of your native language for everyday thoughts and observations. Even just 5 minutes a day of this inner monologue practice makes a massive difference over time. You're teaching your brain that English isn't just something you study in a book or use in class. English is a living language you can use to describe your real life, your real feelings, your real experiences.
This makes English feel personal and natural instead of foreign and academic. Your brain starts treating English like a tool you actually use, not just information you memorize. At first, this will feel slow and awkward. You'll forget to do it, or you'll struggle to find the words you need. That's completely normal and expected. But if you keep practicing consistently, something amazing happens. Your brain starts doing it automatically without you forcing it. You'll notice English words popping into your head naturally when you see things or do things. That's the moment you know your brain is starting to think in English. The beautiful thing about this exercise is that it grows with you. As your vocabulary expands and your confidence increases, your inner monologue becomes richer and more complex. You move from, "I'm eating breakfast," to, "This coffee tastes amazing today. I should buy this brand again. I wonder if they sell it at the store near my house." Your brain is building fluency in real time, creating the mental habits that native speakers have naturally. This is how you bridge the gap between knowing English and living in English. Here's something that traditional schools and textbooks never teach you, but it's absolutely crucial for learning to think in English. Language is deeply connected to emotion in your brain. When you feel something strongly, your brain remembers it better and stores it more permanently. Scientists have proven that emotional experiences create stronger neural connections than neutral information. So, if you want to learn English faster and make it stick in your brain naturally, you need to connect English words to your real emotions in real moments. Instead of memorizing boring word lists from a book where you feel nothing, start connecting English to what you're actually feeling right now in your life. When you wake up feeling happy and energized, think, "I feel amazing today. I'm so glad it's sunny outside. I love mornings like this." When you're frustrated because something isn't working, think, "This is so annoying. Why isn't this working? I'm getting really frustrated." When you're hungry and your stomach is growling, think, "I'm starving. I need to eat something right now. Where's the nearest food?" By linking English to genuine emotions in genuine moments, you're teaching your brain that English isn't separate from your life. English becomes part of how you process and express what's happening inside you. This is incredibly powerful because it transforms English from an academic subject into a personal language. When you feel sad, you think, "I feel sad," in English. When you feel excited, you think, "I'm so excited," in English. The emotion and the English words become one experience in your brain. This technique works with all emotions: happiness, anger, fear, surprise, love, disappointment, boredom, curiosity, everything. The stronger the emotion, the stronger the memory and connection. If you're watching a movie and something shocking happens, think, "Oh my God, I can't believe that just happened," in English.
If you're laughing at something funny, think, "That's hilarious. I can't stop laughing," in English. You're creating emotional anchors that make English unforgettable and automatic. Over time, this emotional connection makes English feel natural and alive, instead of mechanical and forced. You stop thinking of English as a foreign language you're studying and start experiencing it as a language you actually use to understand yourself and the world around you. This is the difference between students who memorize thousands of words but can't speak and people who truly live in English.
Make English emotional, make it personal, make it real, and your brain will adopt it as a natural part of who you are.
Let's talk about a situation that happens constantly when you're learning English. You hear or read a word you don't know. Most learners immediately panic and grab their phone to look up the translation in their native language. But here's a much better approach that trains your brain to think in English and understand English through English, not through translation. The secret is using context clues to guess the meaning before you look anything up. Imagine someone says to you, "The weather is really gloomy today," and you don't know the word gloomy. Instead of immediately translating it, stop and use the context around it. They're talking about the weather, so gloomy must describe weather. Look outside or think about the weather. Is it dark, cloudy, gray, depressing? Your brain can make an educated guess based on the situation and the other words in the sentence. Maybe gloomy means dark and sad-looking weather. And you know what? You'd be exactly right. This is exactly how native speakers learn new words their entire lives. A 5-year-old English speaker doesn't know every word in English. When they hear a new word, they don't translate it to another language because they only know one language. They use context to figure it out. They listen to how it's used, they watch people's faces and body language, they notice the situation, and their brain pieces together the meaning. You can do the exact same thing, and it's incredibly effective for building real understanding instead of translation dependence. After you make your guess from context, then you can look up the word to confirm if you were right. But here's the key. When you look it up, don't just read the translation and move on. Look at English definitions, English example sentences, and images if possible. Connect the new word to other English words you already know and to visual or emotional associations. For gloomy, you might see example sentences like a gloomy sky or feeling gloomy, and pictures of dark and cloudy weather or sad faces. Now your brain understands gloomy through English context, not through translation. This approach does two powerful things at once. First, it trains your brain to tolerate ambiguity and stay calm when you don't understand every single word, which is essential for listening to fast, natural English. Second, it builds your ability to understand English through English, which is the foundation of thinking in English. Every time you figure out a word from context, instead of translating it, you're strengthening the direct processing pathways in your brain. Over time, English becomes a self-contained system in your mind, not something that constantly needs translation support to function. Now let's apply everything we've learned to actual listening practice, because this is where thinking in English makes the biggest difference. Choose a short video or podcast in English, something between 30 seconds and 1 minute long. Don't choose something too difficult or too long at first. The goal is building the right habits, not torturing yourself with impossible content. And here's the crucial part. Do not use subtitles in your native language. If you need subtitles, use English subtitles only. Listen to the audio once and don't try to translate every single word you hear. Instead, try to feel the overall meaning of what's being said. Ask yourself these questions. What's the emotion or tone? Happy? Serious? Funny? Angry? What's happening in this situation? Are people having a conversation? Is someone explaining something, teaching, telling a story? What's the main idea? Even if you only catch 40% or 50% of the words,
Can you guess what the general topic or message is? This is holistic listening, and it's how native speakers process language naturally. Then listen again, and this time try to catch more details. Which specific words can you understand? Which phrases make sense? Are there any words you can guess from context? Don't pause after every word to translate it in your head. Let the English flow over you and through you like music. You're training your brain to process the rhythm, the melody, the feeling of English before you analyze the individual pieces. This is the opposite of how schools teach listening, but it's dramatically more effective for real-world comprehension. If you're using English subtitles, read them while listening and try to connect the written words to the sounds you're hearing. Your brain is learning to recognize English through multiple channels at once: sound, written form, context, and meaning. All of these connections work together to create understanding without translation. The more you practice this way, the more automatic it becomes. Eventually, you won't need subtitles at all because your brain will process spoken English directly and instantly. Imagine understanding English the way you understand music. When you hear a song you love, you don't analyze every single note or instrument. You feel it as a whole experience. The melody, the rhythm, the emotion all hit you at once, and you just know whether you like it or not.
That's exactly how listening in English should feel when you stop translating and start thinking in English. The meaning hits you immediately, holistically, naturally. You feel what's being said before you consciously think about it. That's the goal. And with consistent practice using these techniques, you'll absolutely get there. Let's review everything we learned today so you can start applying it immediately. First, we discovered why your brain translates in the first place. You were taught English through translation, so your brain built a habit of going from English to your native language to understanding. This creates a mental bottleneck that makes fast English feel impossible to follow. But translation is just a habit, and habits can be changed with the right training and patience. Second, we learned what thinking in English actually means. It doesn't mean narrating your entire life in English all day long. It means creating direct connections between English words and their meanings, images, emotions, and sensations without using your native language as a bridge. When you see a dog, you think dog, not your language's word for dog. When you feel hungry, the English words I'm hungry appear naturally in your mind. This is how native speakers process language effortlessly and automatically. Third, we covered 5 specific exercises you can start today. Visual association connects English words to images and memories instead of translations. Inner monologue trains your brain to narrate your daily life in simple English. Emotion-based learning links English to your real feelings in real moments. Context guessing teaches you to figure out unknown words the way native speakers do. And holistic listening practice trains your brain to process English as complete meaning instead of word-by-word translation. Each of these exercises rewires your brain a little bit every time you practice. Remember, this transformation doesn't happen overnight, and that's completely okay. You're changing deep neural pathways that have existed in your brain for years or even decades. Be patient and compassionate with yourself. Even practicing these techniques for just 5 or 10 minutes a day creates new connections in your brain. Those connections get stronger every single day, and over time,
Thinking in English stops being something you force and starts being something that happens naturally and automatically, without any effort. The most important thing is consistency, not perfection. You don't need to do everything perfectly. You don't need to never make mistakes. You just need to keep practicing these exercises regularly, and your brain will do the rest. Neuroplasticity is real, and your brain is capable of incredible change at any age. Watch how fast English transforms from confusing noise into clear, natural communication. You have everything you need to make this happen. Now go practice, stay consistent, and enjoy the journey of finally thinking in English without translation. You've got this.
Before you go, if this video helped you understand how to stop translating and start thinking in English, hit that subscribe button right now. New lessons like this one come out every week to help you speak and understand English naturally. Don't miss them. And if you want to practice real-life English right away, watch my next video where I take you through my Saturday routine, visiting 5 everyday places: a pharmacy, coffee shop, shopping mall, supermarket, and bank. You'll learn simple, useful phrases for each location that you can use immediately in your own life. No complicated grammar, just real conversations and practical English for beginners. Perfect for building confidence in everyday situations. Click here to watch it now, and I'll see you there.